BALLIN reviews Star Wars Battlefront. 10 years ago, one of the greatest Star Wars shooters was released. That game was Star Wars Battlefront 2. The game was perfection in more ways than one. For years, fans clamored for a sequel to this masterpiece, and although new titles in the Battlefront series were made, there was never an official Star Wars Battlefront 3. When Star Wars was sold to Disney, it seemed that all hope was lost. That is, until it was announced that a new Battlefront game was going to be made by EA and DICE. Though not officially the Battlefront 3 that everyone had asked for, this game served to fill in the Star Wars Battlefront void and give fans new love for the series. However, does the new Star Wars Battlefront live up to the hype and expectations 10 years in the making? Or does it fail and end up being nothing more than a generic FPS with Star Wars characters? Let's find out. When talking about Star Wars Battlefront, the first question that a lot of people ask is how similar is it to Battlefront 2? Let me go ahead and get this out of the way right now. Star Wars Battlefront is not an HD remake of Battlefront 2. It is also not Star Wars Battlefront 3. It is its own game that for the most part is independent of the other Battlefront games. Now this isn't a bad thing necessarily. There are some features that were kept in from previous Battlefront games. For starters, the players are offered the choice to play in either first person or third person. The game looks really good either way, although I have to complain that running and jumping animation looks a little weird at times in third person, especially when playing as one of the special characters. The standard space battles are not included, however there are air battles that take place on the planet using the Star Wars aircraft. These things all help to differentiate it from other shooting games on the market. Even though it doesn't exactly feel like other Battlefront games, it definitely is still a Star Wars game. The weapons are all feel sincerely like Star Wars weapons. The people who bought the deluxe version of the game also received an added bonus, which was the DL-44 blaster, better known as the gun owned by the famous Han Solo himself. The DL-44 can be very overpowered if used correctly, and it may possibly be nerfed in the near future, but for now it's a really good option for those of you that have the deluxe edition. Another feature is that most weapons have an overheat and cooldown function rather than having bullets and needing to reload. What really tips the scales in terms of making this feel like a Star Wars game is the arrangement of playable characters. Even though the class system is no longer available, you can customize your weapons and equipment for different purposes. Finally, there's the hero mode, where you play as a main character from either side of the battle. Whether it be using the dark or light side of the Force, fighting and charging in with your lightsaber, soaring around the skies using Boba Fett's jetpack, or simply charging in Han Solo style and shooting first, each character is unique and gives a new method of gameplay. Hero mode is the definitive method for playing the game for those of you that want this to be a true Star Wars experience. I will admit that using a lightsaber can feel a little awkward at times, especially if you're playing as Luke, and the hitbox is very weird, but it just becomes natural to you over time and you just seem to get used to it. In terms of game modes, the game doesn't really have that much to offer. There isn't a campaign mode, and while split-screen offline multiplayer is available, it can be a bit tedious to use at times, especially if you only have one account set up. The main feature that everyone who has this game will be using is the online multiplayer. If you aren't able to play online for any reason, the game will not be as enjoyable. The only way to level up and to unlock new weapons is through the online. This is a little disappointing since there were several things to do in Battlefront 2. That game had an extensive campaign that started from the Clone Wars featured in the prequel movies and spread all the way through the Battle of Hoth against the Rebels that was featured in Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. Another mode that Battlefront 2 had that I would have enjoyed seeing in Battlefront was the Galactic Conquest mode. In that game mode, you would play as one side and wage war against the other, traveling through space and having various space battles and planetary battles to try to conquer the galaxy. Seeing as how Battlefront's main feature is the online, it's a good thing that the online is very stable. There is very minimal lag, and it's very fast to start playing a match and start having fun. As you keep playing, you'll quickly level up and unlock new weapons that will add several different methods of gameplay. The online will keep you playing this game for hours and hours of enjoyment. For everything that this game does well though, there are some complaints that can be considered a deal breaker for some. For starters, the game, for the most part, only has content from the original trilogy. There aren't any game modes, characters, or planets that are exclusive to the prequel films. Now, there is going to be DLC for the Battle of Jakku, content from the new Star Wars movies, but the fact that there is no content at all from the prequel films can be pretty disappointing for fans of those films. Also, since the game is being made by EA, you know that there's going to be a lot of DLC. Let's do some quick numbers here. The game itself costs $60. The Deluxe Edition, which comes with several added bonus, most importantly being Han Solo's DL-44 blaster that I talked about, is $70. The Season Pass, which was released the same day as the game, cost $50. Overall, if you truly want all the content that the game has to offer, you'll be paying a minimum of $130. That's a pretty hefty price tag for most. And since playing online with others is the most prominent feature in this game, Whether you do or do not buy the extra DLC will actually make a difference in the long run. Overall, I have to say that Star Wars Battlefront is great! It doesn't entirely live up to the 10-year hype we've been waiting for, but it doesn't disappoint in any means. I'd recommend this game to any Star Wars fan, because it truly feels like a Star Wars game over anything else. If you aren't able to play online, I'd say wait until you can, because without it, the game will be sitting there and you'll be done having fun after about 3 hours. If you have Star Wars Battlefront, let me know what you thought of it. If you're thinking about getting it, let me know why, and let me know why you're unsure. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time.